What's going on, everybody? It's David Palmer, Leo King, and this is my show, Uncut Astrology, where I take off the mask and go deep behind the veil and give you this week's astrological forecast for the week of July the 20th through the 26th of 2016. And I want to say thank you so much for everybody for sharing these videos, for being a supporter, for subscribing to my app, for subscribing to this awesome Uncut every week. I just want to say thank you so much. This is my birthday week. I am a 0 degree Leo, July 23rd. And so this is my birthday horoscope week. And I just want to say thank you to you all. The greatest birthday gift I have in my life every year is having this job, being an astrologer, having this studio, and giving you the astrology every day. And, well, that's if you're on the app. But every week if you don't have the app. And, of course, get the app at theleokingapp.com or the iPhone or Android store. We also just gave away a free VIP ticket to my awesome conference, which is Hope in the Desert, which you can find that information for that conference in Las Vegas in September at leokingevents.com. And, of course, if you share this video on Facebook on David Lawrence Palmer or the Leo King, which is on the like page, you can win a free reading. That's because I will snail mail you on the back and write your reading on here. And then you also get a little souvenir of the week that you won. So make sure that you share this video for an opportunity to win every week. And let's go into the astrology of this week. Not that much happening aspect-wise. If you don't know what aspects mean, it doesn't mean that there's a lot of crazy alignments happening in the planet. We have some shifting this week. This means energy is going to shift. But for the most part, to be very honest with you, there are deeper things going on than more upfront and personal. The reason why I say that is, number one, this is the sun finishing in Cancer. It's just finished a full moon, so now the moon's had its peak. And now for the next, couple weeks here, the moon is at its waning phase. Wah, wah, wah. Wane kind of is, if they made a song Wane, it would be like, oh, it's waning outside. I just came up with a funny term. But anyway, so the moon's waning through the next week, right? And so the energy of the moon is kind of lost. And here's the moon going to be in the outer planet signs, right? Aquarius, Pisces, and then it will come into Aries and Taurus to finish this week that we're talking about. But kind of a little bit emotionally numbing, letting go, distant, it's when it goes to Aquarius and Pisces. And plus this is where Neptune is, this is where the South Node is. There's a lot of searching deep inside, a little bit of lost energy. And I think this is all about our deeper emotions that we're searching for, what they mean. This is the final degrees of Cancer. And when you have the final degree of Cancer, I'm going to read this. I will post it up on the Uncut here. But the last degrees of Cancer, I want to remind people, okay? Diabetes. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Are we on the right one? Hold on. Aries, yeah, okay. Aries, Capricorn, Cancer. Here we are right here. I always want to remember, people, the last degrees of Cancer. This is what in the old rulership of astrology is, okay? The last degrees of Cancer rule digestive problems, tuberculosis, angina, depression. So, people born on the last couple degrees there of Cancer, it's a very intense degree emotionally. And so, this is a very intense emotional time that we're coming into this. The sun finally comes into Leo on Friday. A day early, remember, because we're in a leap year. So as we're searching for these deeper emotions to be understood and kind of a little bit distant, kind of feeling like, where's this all going? The sun comes in Leo and brightens things up. Even though the moon will be in Pisces and covering Neptune and squaring Saturn, this is really going to be the sun coming into its home sign with Mercury and Venus there, purebred Leo energy for us to face fear, for us to face darkness. The reason why I say this, Mars is in Scorpio, and it is in shadow, and it is covering where we're in retrograde, and it is at the last degrees. It's going to be at 25 through 27 degrees this week. Last time we were at 25 through 27 degrees was last year. Just pay attention to that late July into August into September. When Saturn finished at these degrees. So you could be going back and dealing with a lot of shit and fears and shadows and ghosts and issues that plagued you at that end of July. This was, kind of an intense time, especially kind of even like, it was just a lot of things going on. And into that August period, because that's where Saturn was, and this is where Mars is. And how funny that the last degrees of Scorpio, so I'm going to give you that now, because I think that that's super important, and this is where I'd highlighted it, is poisons, memory issues, alcoholism, tonsillitis, fractures, bone fractures, depressions, stings. You know, these kind of energies are around, whether they're literal or spiritual. You know, there's this stinging aspect, feeling kind of poison, maybe feeling a little, you know, I can't ever describe Scorpio any better. I've been trying to say this. I remember I went into the hospital last year around this time, and I literally was having a panic attack, and I thought I was poisoned. Literally, I was like, I have been poisoned. I thought like something had happened. Either I drank bleach or something, but of course I didn't. Of course it was a panic attack. But I was like freaking out. And you know what's interesting is that's what the end of Scorpio feels like. It's a major freak out. It's like you feel stung, you feel poisoned, you feel fractured, you feel broken, you feel scared, because the last bit of darkness is the darkness. And of course, the first degree of Sagittarius, which comes after Scorpio, is, you know, it's this bright light coming in. And here's the sun with the brightest light, its natural home, coming into Leo on July 22nd. Bam! First day of Leo. Woo! And you know what? I think that this goes deeper than you realize. There is not much happening in the astrology this week. I'm going to be honest with you. Just the sun exiting Cancer, sun entering Leo, Mars at the edgy degrees of Scorpio, the sun in Leo, easy, not aspect to anything. Venus is in a quincunx Neptune. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that's it, folks. Just some moon aspects, Mercury trine Uranus, and that, you know, like, I'll be honest, this week there's not much happening. It's more deeper inside. It's much more of the war going on between light and dark. It's much more of the war that you are facing within yourself, of your own fears, of your own poisonous feelings that might come up, of your own darkness, your own fears, your own shadows of the past. And how ironic, or like we like to say, divine in astrology, because I don't like irony, I like divine. How divine is it that right now in your life, the sun comes into Leo Friday, where it will be through this whole entire month, right? This next 30-day cycle. And it's going to be all about bringing love, bringing happiness, bringing the light to this darkness, to this poisonous, to this, you know, depression aspect that we just went through as well. And these kind of deeper emotional feelings that are lost. We are needing to find a grip on reality, the North Node in Virgo, right? It's so important to follow this. As the moon is coming into Pisces, going to cover Chiron, going to cover Neptune, going to cover the South Node. You know, are we going to get lost in fantasies? You know, when you have a sun in Leo, when you have a moon in Pisces, and when you have Neptune quincunxing Venus right now in this Leo aspect, Pisces aspect, it's not actually as bad as you think it is. It's like, wow, you know, creating Disneyland, especially with Saturn and Sagittarius, you can create Disneyland. But at the same time, you know, you can kind of, the dark side of Leo and the dark side of Pisces and the dark side of Sag can be horrible beliefs that things are just going to be destroyed and things are going to just be falling off the edge. And it's like, what side are you going to pick here? Are you going to like let this kind of toxic energy let down your light? This is everything trining to Aries, trining to Sagittarius now. We're in a lot of fire. We're in fixed fire. We're in the most intense fire that you can get. And right away as the sun enters Leo, you get all the fire. Boom! Right? Because literally this week, the moon will be in Aries, trining over to the sun, trining over to Venus, trining over to Mercury, trining over to Saturn. Woo! This is like one of the most fire energies you're going to get this year, okay? I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, this is, especially when the sun's in its natural home in Leo, this is a fiery time for you to face the darkness. I think it's been hard the last week, because last 2 weeks especially, because as Mars came on and came through this dark energy and came through this power and went through all these crazy degrees. I mean, literally, if you just read like the middle degrees of where Mars stationed was fevers, appendicitis, gout, cancer, you know, like these kind of energies of darkness kind of came up. This is God coming in this week with all its light and all its glory to be there for you to face your past energies, darkness, fears. With Venus quincunx Uranus or Neptune, it is saying, tap into spirit. Listen to what your heart wants. but make sure that it's coming from a divine place. Make sure that you're not lost in it. Make sure that you're not as well, because the second the sun comes into Leo this weekend, and you watch with this moon and Pisces on Neptune, people are just going to want to like lose it. Let's just go on vacation. Let's get drunk. Let's avoid the world. Let's take off. Let's just peace out. And I think this Jupiter and Virgo kind of feels alone now. It's not aspecting anything anymore. It's getting ready to oppose Chiron again. But, it's kind of in this in-between zone of, this Chiron-Neptune energy. And what it's trying to say is, actually the way to heal yourself is by, going about it face to face, facing things and dealing with them instead of avoiding them, facing the darkness with the light instead of kind of trying to run away from the darkness and kind of like bring false light to things. This is where we really have to bring true light to situations, true love. It's a true test of your true love in your life. If you can love yourself, if you can really bring out this darkness. I think the really positive days are the beginning of the week when we have this moon in Aries and we have Mercury trining over to Uranus and we have Venus, in a good position. And, I think that really a lot of this is going to be this powerful, exciting aspect that's kind of forming right now with the planets. We also have Uranus. You got to remember that's getting ready to go retrograde, right? So, Uranus is at its stationary spot, like basically ready to retrograde. And so we are at the final round of ascension. We're at the final round where we can't let ourselves go crazy, where we need to be very understanding of situations. We need to not... we need to search for the answers. And I think that the answers come from just facing things forward, not avoiding them, bringing love to them this week, bringing light. There was not much going on in the astrology. I mean, yes, Uranus stopping is a big deal. It's a huge deal. But Uranus stopping is everything's about to turn a crazy corner here. So the preparation for that, in the middle of that, is to face your darkness. Know when all these crazy past stuff comes up. Bring light to it. Bring love to it. Face it. Look at it. And know that you can overcome it, because the sun out... Well, it's very hard, actually. I'm going to be honest. Being born with a sun in Leo and a Mars in Scorpio is a rough one, right? Because it's the highest level. It's 10 points for Mars, 10 points for the sun. So this is a hard time, folks. Right? It's the ultimate war. It's the ultimate war of the light and the dark. We haven't even seen it yet. It finally starts this week. So here it's going to be the ultimate sides of dark and light really battling it out. We'll talk about it on Astro Buzz, how it works into the world. But in your own personal spiritual development this week, how do you face the dark? How do you face the shadows? How do you face this poisonous, toxic feeling? How do you face these deeper, darker, crawling things inside and let them go? And really find this answer as Uranus is stationary, ready to go retrograde, and Mercury trines it by the end of the week. We'll talk right when Mercury, we'll talk at the end of this week into next week about Uranus retrograde and what it means for you. But what it means to me is we are ascending this week to the highest that we can. And in order for us to do that, we must bring love. We must bring light. We must bring our strength to the table. And we must not be afraid to face the past, face the ghosts, and face things that are kind of coming up. This is kind of a weird in-between spot. This isn't time to really go, I think a lot of us are kind of like, there's these big things coming. But we're really kind of in the middle of getting there. We're really not in them fully, because I think that we are being, this is what I finally want to say to you, is we are being transitioned to where we need to go next. Uranus retrograde is the transition point, is the turn of the, of the train tracks. Like I always look at Uranus retrograde like, right? Like we're going, okay. And what it does is we make this corner, and this corner is the one where the eclipses are going to be. And so we're on a track right now that's confusing, that's not emotionally understood. And this week we finally see by the week's end the turn, and we get ready for it, especially on the day that Uranus goes retrograde. So thank you so much for all the support. Really just enjoy this week. You're not going to see weeks like these where they're as easy, but I want to say this. It's much more inside that you're gonna be dealing with things. It's much more bringing love to situations. It's not so much you're gonna see kind of, I think, a neurotic, crazy energy going around. Sure, I think we're gonna see it with the battle of dark and light. And I think we're going to see it in politics especially. And I'm having crazy deja vu even saying this right now. But, and I mean, that's given. But the main thing here is we are at a shift point. Uranus is always the greatest shift points when it retrogrades. And here we are in the week that's stationing to it. So it's the buildup of this turn. And it's hidden. You don't know it. You're not ready for it. You think it's never going to turn. It's going to turn. And this week, just remember that. It's going to turn. Fast. Out of nowhere. Right when the train's at the last second. Woo, woo, fake train time. And then. So, hope that helps. Thank you, I just want to say some personal things right before we go out of this. I did a live video about sobriety, how I think that's important through the next couple months with South Node and Neptune. I did a special video. I'm going to do another special video on it. I want to say thank you for everybody again for just everything. You know, on my birthday week, I just want to give thanks and gratefulness. This is going to be an interesting solar return for me. Of course, I'm born July 23rd, so it'll be an interesting one. But I'm actually kind of lucky because the energy's pretty calm this week compared to all the other weeks. So I got kind of lucky. But I just want to say thank you. And thank you for everything. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being part of this. I'd love to see you at Hope in the Desert. I did a live video. You can watch it on Facebook. It's down below. You should, where I gave away the free ticket. That's not a 30-minute video of me just talking about giving away a free ticket. That's a 30-minute video about talking about the future, talking about the eclipses, talking about why Hope in the Desert's happening. I suggest that you watch it. It's probably down below, just two videos or whatever. But Hope in the Desert is much more than just a conference. Like, go look at the astrology yourself from September 1st through the 15th. Go look and why that the conference is now happening September 9th to the 11th. Go look at the astrology. Go look at the in-between eclipses. Go look at that first quarter square of the moon in the middle of eclipses. We are literally going to be deep in the middle of fate and eclipse season. And it's going to be crazy and powerful. And we all need to bring hope back into the world and to our own lives. And that's why this event is happening. So if you want to be there, go to leokingevents.com. Thanks so much for all the support. I truly love it. Thank you for sharing these videos. And I'll see you on the next Uncut.